How I got my dream skin after having acne for over 15 years. I struggled with severe cystic acne for so long, and I literally just covered it up with foundation every single day. Thankfully, this is my skin now. And while a lot of people told me when I was younger that I would just grow out of acne, the fact is that my grandfather passed away with pimples on his face. There are people who are well into adulthood, mothers, people in their middle age or geriatric age that still struggle with acne, and it is a skin condition that does not discriminate. And the truth is that over the past 10 years, I had to not only become an esthetician and a medical esthetician, but understand my beauty and my body, the products that I put on my face, and the way that I treat myself and my body in order to do what's right for my skin and to get it clear. And there are some things that are medically backed, scientifically based, and that have been proven to work for people beyond just me. So while this is my experience, these are also the things that I recommend to others in clinic, that doctors and dermatologists have told me, and that work for a wide variety of people. And if you're still struggling with your skin, wondering if it's ever going to get clear, if you're afraid to leave the house in the morning, if you were like me and you literally couldn't see other people without makeup on because you felt like you were or are like so ugly that you're decreasing other people's quality of life, I feel that. It gets me emotional, but I want you to know that that is not the truth. And just because this organ in between your two ears is telling you that doesn't mean that that is reality. And it's 100% okay to have acne, and it's 100% okay to want to change it. But I want you to be able to love and embrace yourself for where you are, while at the same time understanding that it is so beyond okay to be a work in progress. And when it comes to me and my skin, here's how I got what is my dream skin after 15 years of struggling with acne. And just as a caveat, my dream skin is not picture perfect. I want to make it super clear that I do not look like a smoothed out, filtered Kardashian. When I smile, I do have a couple of wrinkles. I have acne scars and I still get blemishes. But this is my dream skin because I feel good in it. And yes, it is objectively better, meaning less physically painful, less red, and less infected than it was 15 years ago. When I explain what actually cleared my skin, I use a pie chart. I have a full video on that I will link in the description, and I highly recommend you check that out. But one of the main things that I completely had to shift my perspective on was moisture. I thought for so long that having acne, oily prone skin meant that I had to dry it out, not realizing that sometimes my skin was overproducing oil because it needed that hydration so badly that I wasn't giving it. It is 100% okay to moisturize when you have acne. You need to just make sure that you're using moisturizers that work for you. I specifically really love moisturizers that have ceramides in them. If you don't like that thick feeling on your skin, you can get a ceramide product that's more lightweight, like a serum. Cocoa Kind has a really great one. But if you're okay with something thicker, especially at night, you can super hydrate your skin so that when you wake up in the morning, your skin feels hydrated and refreshed from the deeper layers all the way up. One of my favorite moisturizers is still from Ceramedics. It's a cruelty-free alternative to the CeraVe, and it doesn't break me out. And when I put that on at night, it feels heavy, but I can go to bed with that, sleep with it, and wake up in the morning and my skin feels so buttery smooth and soft. And while moisturizing, even when you have acne, is important, sunscreen is even more essential. Nobody taught me the importance of sunscreen. You can literally think of sunscreen as an anti-cancer medication, but I didn't realize that the sun could actually be making my acne turn into acne scars and pigmentation. The sun can literally cause your acne to scar on your skin. Please protect it from the sun. I not only didn't know better until I really went into medical aesthetics and understood the danger of the sun's UV rays, but number two, all of the sunscreens out there were nasty. They were so greasy and goopy on my skin, they were absolutely terrible. There are some sunscreens that are soupy. I love a soupy sunscreen. No, I'm just kidding. There are some sunscreens that are super acne-prone skin friendly that I would highly recommend if you hate that feel of the thick, greasy sunscreens that clog your pores and make you feel like you're breaking out because of them. Zitstica was one of the first sunscreens that was made with acne-prone skin in mind, and it is such a good one. It's in a serum dropper, so it's much more lightweight than a lot of greasy formulas. It's normally like $44, but you can find it on sale, and this is an excellent one made by a brand that actually cares about acne. It's also pretty expensive, but Elta MD has some really good sunscreen options for acne-prone skin. They specifically have a sunscreen called the Clear UV, and this is made with niacinamide that can help to regulate oil control. Now, one of my personal favorite sunscreens for my acne-prone skin was from Isntree. It's the hyaluronic acid watery sun gel. But fun fact, almost 2 years ago, I was wearing their sunscreen and thought to myself, This is good, but for my oily skin that is acne prone, I wish there was a sunscreen that was a little bit better. And as some of you know, I was actually able to reach out to Isntree and say, listen up, if I could change anything about my favorite sunscreen that you make, this is what it would be. And they said, do you want to do it? And I said, yes, but only if you'll make it purple. And they said, what the f? And I said, just listen to me. So if you don't know that story, we've spoken about it in the past, but the Isntree Purple Protector is something that they allowed me to work with them to create. And it is not only a purple sunscreen that blends out invisible, but it has Muon red onion extract. It has niacinamide and silica, as well as other ingredients that actually are made to support blemish-prone and scarred skin. This is one of my favorites, and it really works well on oily skin because it gives you a texture that is hydrated and glowy, but without being greasy. And this has to be one of my favorite sunscreens for oily prone skin, but don't just take it from me, take it from literally everyone else who has used it too. It took almost 2 years to create, and we tested it on every single skin tone, and fun fact, I actually do not get paid for a single sale of this product. So while I worked with Isntree to create it, I just want to make that super clear. Whether or not somebody buys it, it has no impact on me financially. I'm just so honored that they were willing to work with me and take my needs as an acne prone person into consideration. But overall, please remember that it is so important for you to remember to wear a sunscreen, especially when you have acne prone skin. And we can't talk about acne without speaking about diet. This was really important to me, and for a long time I didn't realize how much my diet impacted my acne. It's wrong to say that what you eat causes acne. For example, if pizza caused acne or if chocolate caused acne, then everyone who ate chocolate or pizza would get acne, and that's definitely not the case. However, there are certain foods that when we ingest them, they can impact our entire bodies. Remember that all acne is related to hormones, and if we eat certain foods that can trigger hormonal changes in our bodies, you bet that that can cause oiliness in our skin and cause us to break out. For some people, that's high glycemic foods. For other people, that's sugar. For many people, that's dairy, including for me. Cutting out dairy was huge. And that's not going to be the same for everyone, but it would be amiss for me to not say that diet had a huge impact on my acne. Now, don't go crazy and cut everything out all at once, but if you think there's a certain food that does trigger your acne and you feel like you've tried literally everything else, start with one food or one food group. Actually take photos of your skin and write down in a diary what you have or haven't been eating and how that has impacted your skin, because hormones play a huge role in acne. And remember that your food impacts your hormones. We eat 3 times a day, hopefully, if not more. So how could we think that what we put in our bodies doesn't have an effect on it and literally doesn't impact what comes out? Diet is important, and for many people with acne, don't ignore that because it could be true for you too. And of course, retinoids. I wish that somebody had explained retinoids to me earlier. You see, when you have acne, you think about the redness and how it hurts to lay down on the pillow and how it's hard to cover it with makeup, or how people are pointing to it or asking you what's wrong with your face. But nobody prepares you for the scars that are left over. No one prepares you for the pigmentation. You see, retinoids are amazing because yes, they can literally help get rid of acne, but they also work for scars. They also work for pigment. They also work for fine lines and wrinkles. And hey, as someone who still breaks out even with my dream skin, and I'm aging, I'm not getting any younger, yes, I want something that's gonna help with the wrinkles and with the pimples. Retinoids are amazing, and whether it's the over-the-counter retinols or the retinals or the prescription stuff like the tretinoin, get a retinoid in your routine. You need to use it with a sunscreen, but please, get a retinoid in your routine. I absolutely love some of the over-the-counter retinoids. One of my favorites is from The Ordinary. They have retinol and squalane, so it's an oil so it doesn't dry out your skin, but then it has retinoids in it that your skin can absorb and use. These are fantastic, and The Ordinary has been monumental in me getting clear, healthy skin. Now there's also retinaldehyde. This is amazing. It is so potent and it's so good. It's the most potent form of a retinoid that you can get without seeing a doctor for a prescription. But literally, there's one from Biossance, there's one from Youth to the People. One of my favorites is from Medicate. I believe they're either an Australian or a British brand. I'm pretty sure they're Australian, but they are fantastic. The Cristal Retinal Serum is so potent and so good. If you have adult acne, this is where you want to get to. And remember, if you can make it to the prescription stuff and if your skin can handle it, baby, do not walk, run. The prescription tretinoin is so good. This is literally the potent stuff. Remember, this is what our body naturally makes and what our skin can use. This stuff is so good. And if you don't have a doctor or a derm or you can't get a prescription, literally do not forget that there are online pharmacies that will pair you with experts. 2 of my absolute favorites are from Dermatica and from Agency. If you're international, Dermatica is great. It's also under $30. And Agency is phenomenal, especially if you are someone who has pigmentation in your skin. If your skin has these red or brown marks that are left over, Agency's products are so good. Their Future formula is amazing. It is so absorbent and it is one of the most potent. And obviously with both of these brands, depending on your skin, it's going to be custom blended to you. But but both of these are absolutely phenomenal. And if you want prescription stuff, but you don't have medical insurance or time to go to a doctor, this is where you start. And again, like when I was struggling with my skin so badly, I wish that I knew about this because I guess in my heart, I felt like dermatologists would judge me. Before I started working with them, I literally felt like they were doctors and their skin was perfect and like I was afraid to go to them, even though that's literally their specialty. And again, it was all in my head. It was in my brain, this stupid organ between my ears that feeds me lies. But I was so afraid that like the doctors would judge me or it would be expensive or medical insurance wouldn't cover it or I'd have to wait 6 months. Why were these options not available? Literally under $30, you can see an expert in 2 to 3 days. These were monumental in me not only getting, but maintaining my dream skin. And when talking about derms, babes, we gotta talk about antibiotics. Did you ever hear the story about how I threw up blueberries in my grandmother's Honda on the freeway while on the way to a modeling show? If you didn't, I will spare you the story time. But basically, my acne medication made me so sick that I would throw up. Antibiotics were so difficult for me to take. And listen, if your doctor or derm prescribes them, take them and use them. But what I wish that I knew was that topical, meaning on the skin antibiotics existed, and I needed to use them with benzoyl peroxide. This is again a prescription, so a doctor or a dermatologist needs to make sure that they write you an RX for them. But honestly, topical antibiotics can be so helpful. If your skin needs a reset, they are intense, but they wipe everything out. The problem is they can also wipe out the good bacteria. And if you are using topical antibiotics, you basically need to use a benzoyl peroxide wash. I've done an entire video that's a guide to using benzoyl peroxide so it doesn't like stain your shirt or your pillowcases, but benzoyl peroxide is a must-have. And once I started working with doctors and dermatologists, that's when I realized, oh, they're always pairing this antibiotic with the BP. Why was I not doing that as a teenager? But sometimes you have to learn the hard way, and now I know. Some of the best benzoyl peroxides for literally under $10, $15, the Inky List Super Solutions, the panoxyl benzoyl peroxide, it's a little bit more hydrating, and then Dr. Cassandra Lee MD's benzoyl peroxide is so good. She's Dr. Pimple Popper here on YouTube. And that's also something that like, even though I have my dream skin now, I'm grateful for my acne. Because if it weren't for my acne, number one, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel, but number two, I would never have met Dr. Cassandra Lee MD, Dr. Pimple Popper. Well, I guess I could never say never, but I don't think I would have met her. And we've literally been able to speak about mental health and acne because of what I went through. So in a weird way, I'm kind of grateful that those pimples ended up happening. Tools and treatments. This might not be practical for some people every single day, but dude, acne tools and treatments are one of the best ways that you can elevate your skincare routine and your acne care. When I was in aesthetic school, I would learn about things like the Tesla wand, otherwise known as the high frequency machine. I learned about these LED panels and chemical peels, and I was like, holy shit, like these aren't available at CVS. And now as a medical esthetician who's worked with literal lasers with doctors and derms, all the way to at-home LED devices, let me tell you, part of having my dream skin was investing in some of these and using them regularly. Now, there are so many different skincare tools and treatments out there. It can be really hard to cut through the bullshit. I always say, look for the science. Look for actual experts, whether they're doctors and derms, estheticians, like actual people who have studied chemistry and physics and science to get that information, because otherwise you'll spend hundreds of dollars on stupid tools and products that don't work. But when it comes to acne, there are certain ones like blue LED and like Tesla or high frequency machines that do work. Now, I know that these are expensive. I would say that you need to do the other stuff or consider even looking at your diet first. But if you have the extra money and if you're someone who can be consistent with tools, there are some really good ones for acne. Now, I've done an entire video on that. I've also created a list. If you want it, it's in the description. You don't have to look at it though. You can literally search Cassandra Bankson acne tools, Cassandra Bankson skincare, and we've probably done videos on it since I've literally had this channel for almost 14 years. But tools, they are a way to take that skincare routine to the next level, especially for me and my acne. And part of tools are chemical treatments. I honestly think chemical treatments, chemical peels, and even regular AHA and BHA acids for helping me with not only my acne, but also my scars. AHAs, BHAs, and PHAs are amazing. You need to use a sunscreen with them, and I'd recommend them at night. But I really think that that's why I don't have these major acne scars that I totally could. For example, I've done the RegenLight laser on my skin because I've worked with RegenLight laser, again, as a medical esthetician. However, other than RegenLight, I personally haven't done Clear and Brilliant or a CO2 laser on myself, but I have done a ton of chemical peels, like where you're face literally peels off. We've done PCA, we've done salicylic acid, we've done Jessner peels, you name it. And I really think that those have helped me. Chemical peels help your skin rebuild collagen from the inside out. They can kill acne bacteria and really exfoliate and desquamate the top layers of your skin. And they have been consistent. Like, I went to aesthetic school first in 2009, so I've been doing chemical peels since then. I took a little break during the pandemic, but chemical peels are amazing. And that is if you do them professionally. But don't forget, you can still get chemical peel-like ingredients such as these acids at home. One of my favorites is the Ordinary's AHA BHA peeling solution. This was one of my favorite peels and still is, and it's literally under 10 bucks in this bloody little bottle. Now, thankfully, some brands have come out with new alternatives. For example, if you want something that's really suited to more pigmented skin, there's an Indian brand called beMinimalist. They have an AHA PHA peel that's yellow, so f***ing good, a little bit more gentle. And Paula's Choice even has like a purple unicorn peel. It's a little bit more gentle than the Ordinaries, but really, really good. Now, there are also PHAs, polyhydroxy acids. These are even more gentle and they're better for sensitive skin. So if you're sensitive and acne prone, that is what I'd point you to. And things like lactic and glycolic acids, they can be intense, but they're more hydrating. So they're great for those who are acne prone and a little bit more dry. Again, I've listed some of my favorites so that they're really easy to find. And if you are someone who's like dry skin with acne, you might need something different than someone who's really oily with acne, or if you have mature skin and acne versus if you tend to hyperpigment with acne. But overall, if you understand what ingredients to look for, that's how you can find the best things for you. And that's honestly how I got my dream skin. Literally hydrating it with moisturizers that I thought were the devil, right? Protecting it from the sun. I actually used to sit out in the sun thinking that the sun would kill my acne bacteria. Oh my God, someone help me. I'm gonna need so much tretinoin to make up for those years. Tretinoin, another one of those things. But when achieving my perfect dream skin, these were the things that were monumental for me. And if I can take that pain that I suffered with when my acne was at its worst and turn it into education and empowerment for other people to actually show you my skin and what my scars and my blemishes do look like so that you know what real skin is and what is possible for you, that's what I hope this video and this channel does. Make sure that you save this for later. Like, actually text this to yourself so you don't lose it or take a screenshot. But when you are struggling, I hope you can come back here and remember that if you haven't tried all of these different things, there is still hope. And if I leave you with one thing, it's to remember that at the end of the day, what you look like has no impact on what you can do for this world. It is okay to remember that acne is normal. We can love ourselves with our skin that is fully breaking out. And it's okay to embrace ourselves while we're full of pimples, while still wanting to get rid of them and being a work in progress. And in a weird way, I'm still so thankful for my acne because I wouldn't have my passion. I wouldn't have gotten into medical aesthetics. I wouldn't have started this YouTube channel if it weren't for those painful pimples on my face and literally the pimples that hurt not only my skin, but my soul. And I mean, I got to pick up Dr. Pimple Popper and then she picked me up. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have acne. So in a weird way, it is those horrible experiences that we get through and teach us who we are, what we're meant to do, and give us our strength and our character. So I hope you can take anything that is harmful that has happened to you and try to see it in a different light as well. Always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF. I'd recommend a good acne-prone one. And always be beautiful, both inside and out. I love you, and I can't wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.